Everyone, welcome back to Professional Insights, brought to you in part by National Referral Network. The National Referral Network is designed to provide education for those that are watching to help you run your business more effectively, more efficiently, and help create some financial literacy in the process. This morning, we're going to go a little off topic in terms of financial. We've got Eric Thorup online, good friend of mine, works with Tek Utah, helps business owners protect their data. And this morning, we're going to talk about cybersecurity. And the reason I wanted to talk about this morning is the whole MGM ransomware attack that happened. I just found out the other day. It came up about a week ago. A lot of money involved, and it's a big organization, but it can happen to small business owners as well. So good morning, Eric. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
So let's jump into this, Eric. I mean, right off the bat, explain what the cybersecurity landscape is and what business owners need to be aware of.
Okay. So many people don't know that there is active warfare going on right now in the cyber world. I mean, it's been going on for years, and it's just getting worse and worse. It's just the reality of the situation. There are people out there, nefarious people, who are looking to steal your identity, looking to steal your information and your money. And it's profitable. They get away with it. And that's why they do it. And
so as a business owner, though, Eric, how do you, there's a lot that's coming on. You're a business owner. You've got a lot of hats wearing that you wear every day, right?
Correct.
As a business owner, looking at this for the first time, right? They know they got to do something. They just haven't taken the steps. What are the first steps they should be taking to protect themselves?
Well, one of the biggest things to help business owners understand is just how vulnerable they are. A lot of them don't think, well, I'm such a small business, I'm not really a target. And that's not really true. Yes, you may not be MGM, right? Okay. But I've had small clients, one computer clients, guys that run their business from a single computer, get hit with ransomware. And yes, the stakes may not be as high in the sense, well, maybe they're only asking for $3,000 ransom for their data, versus maybe 300 million. I don't know what MGM had to pay, but
it's an undisclosed amount.
Yeah. And so the risk of attack is never zero. Okay. You have to understand that there are automated systems. These hackers, these nefarious people have automated systems that scan the internet constantly looking for vulnerabilities. So they never have to do it manually themselves. It's just constantly going. And when
real quick, Eric, let's talk about that vulnerability though.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, of course.
Because there's a lot of things that happen, and going through our training, because obviously we have data that we have to protect as a firm. I didn't realize there's so many vulnerabilities to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So kind of go through there. What is the number one gateway that you see that opens that door to cybersecurity attacks?
Probably for small businesses, it would be email scams.
Okay.
They're getting very sophisticated.
Yeah, like the phishing. I mean, there's all kinds of terms
phishing
for it.
Emails. They have ones called spear phishing emails, which are targeted towards CEOs, CFOs.
Ooh.
These are the more sophisticated ones. These are the ones that come in. What'll happen is that the email will be directed at somebody in charge of money. It may not be the CEO, or it may not be the CFO, but it'll hit somebody they've done their research on. And they'll be the email will be formatted in a way that looks like it came from the CEO or it came from the CFO. Okay. And it'll try to instill a sense of urgency to the person, oh, hey, I'm in a meeting right now, and I really need you to go buy this gift card and send me the code on it for a demonstration I'm doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's so nefarious. That's one of the more simple ones. So I have run into some that are a little more complex. But the other one is probably the next level is still dealing with email, but it comes to credentials. People who don't secure their email with a secure password, mm-hmm. but with two-factor authentication. And for example, I had a client a few months ago. His email account got compromised. He didn't realize it. And what they do, they go in, they set up a folder, innocuous. I think his said notes. Okay. The hacker sets up a filter that filters all new email to go into that folder. So
Nice.
the owner doesn't see any new emails coming in, but the hacker does. And so what this hacker did is he acted like this client of mine and fooled one of his vendors into changing bank accounts that they were going to be sending about $26,000 to pay for a
Wow.
project. They changed it because, like, hey, I don't know any different. The vendor doesn't. That's not really their responsibility. They sent the money to the new account, and within minutes, as soon as that money hit the account, the hacker withdrew it and deleted all the emails and was gone.
So there's this there's this kind of balancing act right now going on with remote work, coming back to the office, and this halfsies, right? They're not quite sure what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
What role is this remote work playing in this cybersecurity kind of space? And how does a business owner protect themselves, right? Because not saying that this email in the terms of that 26,000 was because of remote work, but look, it's not MGM, but $26,000 to a small business is a big
It's
paycheck,
devastating. It can
right?
be devastating.
Especially if somebody does, on the flip side, if somebody does a ransomware for $26,000, and you've talked about it in some of our other meetings, that if all of your data is gone, you can't produce, right? Your catalog is down, your sales are down. So how
And that's
does,
only part of it. If
yeah,
your
right?
if
And
your
so how
data's
does
been
it,
compromised, I mean, if it's been encrypted, that means that the hacker had access to the data, meaning
yeah.
they probably got a copy of it somewhere. So even if you pay the ransom, at that point, you're still dealing with the fact that they compromised your data and you now have to report that. And you're talking tens of thousands at minimum in trying to do mitigation,
So how
ID
do you
theft
protect yourself
protection.
in a remote environment?
So in a remote environment, that does make it quite a bit more difficult for people like me as a managed IT provider, because now you're dealing with other computers that are outside of the normal business network. So as a managed IT provider, I provide antivirus and monitoring services typically for the internal network, the firewalls, things like that. And now when they're doing remote work, I now have to figure out, okay, how are we protecting these remote computers? Maybe it's providing the antivirus and monitoring services. A lot of it is educating the users. For
So
the
there's a
business
lot
owner
of,
perspective,
but Eric, there's a lot of systems out there that say that they do this thing, right? They
mhm,
say that they protect a business. They say that they protect your identity as individuals, but it comes out that some of them aren't necessarily doing what they're, it's more of an insurance product. Like if something
mhm,
happens, then they'll cover you, but they're
yeah.
not actually preventing this. So how does somebody differentiate between the two?
So it's about what are they doing to mitigate, to
Got it.
help you protect. So some companies, yeah, it really is just insurance. So what, because they know that eventually it's going to happen. And so what they do is they offer a service to help mitigate, or not mitigate, but help um, reduce the damage that happens, right? Or pay out an insurance or whatever it is. Then there's other companies, and this is kind of what you want to look for, who are actively, um, proactively, I should say, looking out for your best interest. So what they'll do is they'll provide like a dark web ID scan
Yep.
to help look for any compromised credentials that you might have. And they report that to you, and they'll do that on a regular basis. Okay. They look out for things like, I got a couple of services I use that they do the scan. They look at like alerts that come up, whether that's credit alerts, spending alerts. It's the ones that proactively do something that you want to sign up with, not just the ones that are just waiting for it to happen. Okay.
So, I mean, keywords like we do scans, we do dark web scans, I mean, things like that versus,
Yes.
hey, we protect you when it happens
Yeah.
versus, okay. So
Versus
there's
just
some
waiting,
keywords.
just waiting. Oh, we'll pay out this, if it does happen, kind of thing. It's not a matter of if. Okay, I guarantee you that I would say near 98, 99% of people out there have been compromised in some way, and I'm finding that out more and more as we implement our dark web ID scan for some of our clients. I ran a scan for one of our clients the other day, and they had 132 different compromises,
So what does that
ranging from
mean?
personally protected information,
Okay.
names, email addresses, social security numbers, all the way up to recent email compromises, with passwords. And when I show them this report, their jaw just drops. Like, I had no idea.
So obviously the first thing is training,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
What are
absolutely.
what are some of the
Educating the
steps that a
users.
business owner can do to help? I mean, really push. Like like I know that people get lazy and they trust a lot. I mean, there's a combination of both of those.
Yeah.
But what can a business owner, what steps can a business owner take to train their employees to have this concept of a zero trust when it comes to getting those emails? I mean, is that even possible?
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. So we do. There are some basic things, simple things. Obviously, if there is any kind of question whatsoever, like if they can tell users, hey, if you come across an email that is asking to do anything with money, immediately suspect what's going on. You got to be
Okay.
suspicious. Okay. Um, IT companies help business owners with other things. Like I provide a service for my clients. It's a email scam training system. So
Okay.
it integrates with their email, and what it does is over a period of like 3 months, we'll send out random emails that are geared to try and trick the user into clicking on them and to try
Mm,
opening them, clicking a link, and filling out information on the fake website. Okay, and it tracks this and it monitors this. And so what it does then is it sends out emails with training information. Like if they did do something, then it sends out training information saying, hey, we noticed you clicked on this. Here's some training information we'd like you to read and or listen to help educate you. So we try to educate our business owners and the users at the same time on what to look for. So my users, I got them trained really well that if there's even an ounce of suspicion, they call me and be like, hey, I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, send it over to me. Okay. I will look at it. Have a trained IT professional look at it. Most of them will just look at the email free and be like, yeah, I wouldn't click anything on that. So
so if an employee clicks one of these test emails, do their pictures go up on the wall and say this person's? I'm just I'm just kidding.
no,
So
no, we don't go
they
quite
should
that
put them
far.
up there, just like you're the reason. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That's just bad morale. So Eric, so we've gone through these certain steps, right? There's a lot to this, but how important is it for a business to have an incident response plan for this, right? Because you've got this. Hey, I don't even know how big of a deal cybersecurity is, right? You've got that side,
Mhm.
and then as you start to implement a plan, like how important is to have that incident response team or plan? I guess not, maybe
It's
not team.
vital, even if it's just a simple one person IT team to help you get through a situation. Here's the thing: it's not a matter of if it's going to happen; it's always a matter of when. Okay, and you can do. There's a lot of things you can do to mitigate or to minimize your exposure. Right?
Yep.
We talked a little bit about that. There's a lot of things you can do, and having an IT professional to help advise you on those things is always critical. Then, when it does happen, it's always vital to have a what's called a disaster recovery plan in place. Okay. In fact, most insurance companies that provide cyber insurance require that you have some sort of disaster recovery documentation in place so that they know that you are at least planning ahead.
Yep.
Okay. And this, I mean, it could be something as simple as making sure you just have backups. How would you recover if they encrypted your drive? Okay. Are you backing that data up so that if they do encrypt, you don't have to pay a ransom. You just recover from your backups. Okay.
Gotcha.
That's a simple disaster recovery plan. And they can get very sophisticated depending on how big the client is.
Awesome. And then the last thing, Eric, is for business owners that like want to stay up to date, cybersecurity trends, threats, resources. Where should they go? What's the best resource? I know there's a lot of information out there. What's one or two resources that a business owner can go to help get educated on some of these things?
Good companies that provide information for this would be antivirus companies. They typically have like a news section or a blog section that talks about recent activity and recent things that have happened and what to look out for. And so the company we use is Bitdefender.
I've heard
Bitdefender
of
is
that.
an absolutely phenomenal company. The services they provide are top notch, and they do provide many of these resources when it comes to education and being able to show you what's going on in the world. They're the ones I was kind of talking about. Has that real time map of the world showing cyber attacks and things going on. Definitely something people should check out if they really want to get an idea of what's going on.
Wonderful. Eric, man, I really appreciate the time.
Yeah,
Once again, this is from the National Referral Network. This is a little outside of our scope in terms of financial literacy, but I think it's extremely important
very
because,
important.
right, if a business owner
Absolutely.
gets hacked, it could be the difference between being in business and not being in business. So this is extremely important. So thank you very much. If you found value in this, please like, subscribe, share, comment, everything that you always hear in terms of call to action. We're here every Tuesday having these kind of professional insight conversations. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for being here, Eric.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.